My name is Casey Scruggs, and this session is on using swiftDialog to build something. Hopefully you read the notes about the session. Our target is going to be when airdrop is enabled for everyone, and how to let folks know, and that's probably not a good idea, and give them some actions that they can take to improve that security situation. First off, who all, let's say before this week, knew what swiftDialog was, had at least heard of it? Just about everybody. Yeah, it's been around for a few years now, and has gotten really popular because it is so flexible in all that it can do if you leverage it. So I know there were at least 3 of us that were doing presentations about swiftDialog. On Wednesday, Beth Johnson did something. Was anybody here for Beth's? I see 1, 2, a couple folks. Okay, so fair warning, what you'll see here is actually going to be very similar to what Beth talked about. It's kind of working from the same general concepts, but I think they hopefully complement each other, even though there will be a lot of overlap. And yesterday was also Nakeeb presented on swiftDialog. I didn't get a chance to go to that, but Tom in the podcast last night mentioned that he saw it and that it was absolutely fantastic. So I'm looking forward to watching that when it is hosted on YouTube. So for both of those, if you hadn't attended either of them, be on the lookout. Once all of those get posted, I think they'll be great resources beyond this to continue getting familiar with swiftDialog. Oh, and back on Tuesday, at the end of Beth's, somebody mentioned that Bart Reardon, the guy that created swiftDialog, actually last year he did sort of this at Mac DevOps. So I didn't realize that, or I follow him on Mastodon, so I'm sure he posted about it, and I probably just wiped it out of my mind and essentially stole his idea, I guess. But I haven't watched it. I do plan on seeing what he did with it, but I'm guessing it'll be something similar to this. So. Let's move on back a little bit. Okay, me, yes, Casey Scruggs. I work at Western Kentucky University as a systems engineer, focus on Macs. We have about 1,000 or so that we actively manage. It's split. There's another Mac admin. He's much more active in the Slack group. So oftentimes if you see somebody posting with WKU stuff, it's mostly him. But he is very much over the lab side for the Macs. I do the employee, student worker kind of stuff, but we collaborate a lot. I am on Slack, Big Duder. Mastodon is Big Duder at mastodon.social. I think that was the original one. I'm very quiet generally. I just, re-toot on Mastodon mostly. Beyond that, I am not a coder. I graduated 20-ish years ago, a little more than that now, and was a religious studies and psychology double majors. I was just always into computers, but I never got that foundation really of coding. And soon-ish after I graduated, I moved into help desk support and did that for 10 years. Then I moved over to the area that I work for now, though it's had a few name changes, as like break fix on-site troubleshooting type of stuff. And it was fall of 2019. when I stepped into the position I'm in now. And still did not have any practically exposure to code. So it's been very much a learning progress of the last 5 or so years. And the one thing is I'm pretty good about seeing somebody else's code and stealing it, but also figuring out how they, most of the time, did things and kind of recreating it for my own purposes. So, swiftDialog. In action, it just is a message that pops up on the screen. There's lots of active projects on GitHub that make use of it. This one, I believe, is Renew by Second Sun Consulting, Big Mac admin, right? It says, hey, your computer, you had it on for like 2 months straight, probably time to restart. This is Nice Updater from Graham Pugh. I think he forked it off of somebody else that kind of recreated Nudge in swiftDialog. Also, it's very similar to Superman in that regard. It just prompts when updates are available. This implementation of it is a little different. It typically, if they hit continue, will go just to system settings and leave it at the end user to actually follow up and click the yes, install this update button. Then I've got a little bit custom stuff. At our university, we have a guest Wi-Fi, and for whatever reason, some of our folks occasionally will end up getting connected to guest. So I put in a script to check if it knows that it's on guest, display a message that says, hey, you probably shouldn't be on guest because you won't be able to, print or do anything besides check your email most likely because it's going to be so slow. I also use it as a onboarding guide for new users, new machine setups. It gives you the option to plug in a video, a YouTube video, or something hosted locally or elsewhere on the interwebs. It just needs a video URL and it'll plug it in. And of course, as I said earlier, what we're here for to build is a message about AirDrop being turned on when it's for everyone and prompting them to change that. So we are going to build it, that message. Next question. Who all has swiftDialog already installed? A good amount. Okay. So there's a few that don't. I thought that might be the case. So you'll want to get it. You can use the QR code, that's the long URL. I also have a few thumb drives with the installer on it if you want to use that. I wasn't entirely sure how the Wi-Fi was going to be, so it is available locally. And I thought it would be fun, or funny, for those of you that are able to get the installer, maybe you would be willing to share it with the folks around you. And the folks around you would need to turn on AirDrop for everyone. And I just so happened to look a little bit ago. Oh, okay, yeah, it had populated like 15 or so devices. It looks like it's reloading now, but there's that. Does anybody want a USB stick? I will need it back. I can't let you have it, but anybody need the installer? So, all right. In that case, let's go back to here. You got it. Share it for everyone. Install it. All right. it is pretty small. So hopefully it downloads pretty quickly, installs even quicker, and when you're ready, open up Terminal and type dialog. Upon installation, it installs itself into your path, and so you don't have to type out the entire path to it. At least locally, you won't have to do that. You can type just dialog, and it should give you, that look decent enough, hopefully. It'll give you the long list of all the options that you can put on it. And it is very long. It's fantastic. One of these in here is Builder, because that is what I learned from and what we, because that's the way I learned it, I thought that would be a good way to have y'all try it out as well. So, go back to dialog -- builder. Oh, one thing that Beth pointed out that I had forgotten about and thought was very clever, you can set the window to be movable using -O or -- movable. And when you're using the builder, it'll be very handy to make sure that the window is movable. So, -O. Now we can move it around. When I was playing with this originally, I forgot about it being movable, that the builder itself could be movable, and that was a little awkward to navigate. So. All right, now we've got the builder open, hopefully. So let's get back to the next one. All right, for the most part, I'm gonna stay out of the presentation mode because we're gonna go back and forth with the builder interface and reference each of the sections here. So, let's see, we can go back to here. Important message, important message, however you say that. That is the title of it, and that is controlled under content. So we're going to change that to airdrop for everyone enabled. And message. Customize this however you so desire. I am going to cheat and just copy, well, okay, not that. I'm going to copy and paste. And we switch back to here. And live, you can see that's what it would look like. All right. Are we ready-ish to move on? I know I pasted, so I didn't have to type anything out. But if you're ready, we can go to the next tab of the builder. People are still typing. Okay, let it be. All right. Is it all right if we move on? We about good? Think so. Okay. All right. To the next one. Okay. Window. So, with this, we will leave the height and width as default. If we move things around, we can see that it does indeed automatically adjust things. That's good enough. Window properties, the preset sizes, I like to use big a lot of times. You don't have to, doesn't really matter. Configuration section, leave that as default. The progress bar, we'll leave that off. The banner image, this, I want it to be enabled. Right now, I can't click enabled. A bit of an aside, the builder is in, as you can see in the title, alpha phase. So there are some things that don't work necessarily, and some things can be a little unexpected. And I consider the banner image toggle to be one of those. There's a trick to it where you can type something in the banner bar here or whatever, and that will let you enable it.
Here's what I found.
Oh, thank you, Siri. All right. So what we'll want to do actually, let's see, banner title, yeah, leave that off, doesn't matter. Text shadow, let's put that on. The text field, that's what that's called. We're going to point it to a local file. You can point it to an image that's either locally or hosted on the web. It doesn't really matter. It just needs to be something somewhere that the computer can access. Again, I wasn't sure how the Wi-Fi was going to be, so I went to find the Sequoia background. So that is, let's go somewhere local. I said local. Applications, that's what I meant. System, library, desktop pictures, hidden, wallpapers, Sequoia sunrise, and the Sequoia sunrise HEIC. The ping is tiny, so you want to use something that's a better resolution. You can also put in JPEGs, PNGs. It's pretty flexible what it'll take. You can also do a solid color. That's an option up here. But I'm going to copy that and paste it there. And right, enable it, and now it shows up. From Bart's wiki, it mentions the banner image is at most 150 points high and spans the width of the dialog window. So when you're actually building something that you want to put in production, make sure it looks pretty good and kind of meets those specifications. Okay. Next, if we're ready, we'll move on to sidebar. And first thing, icon. We want it to be visible, so that one is toggleable without putting anything in first, because it has a placeholder icon. As you can see, you can use a SF symbol. You have to know what the line name is for the SF. So I generally go look that up in the SF symbols app or whatever it's called. If I use a symbol, most of the time I actually will use our university logo. For this, again, wasn't sure how network activity was going to be, so I wanted to use something that is internal to the computer itself and looks decent, roughly square-ish shaped. So we're going to point it to, jump back a little bit, library, extension kit, extensions, and I guess this is probably only available if you're on Sequoia or higher. But there is, inside of wallpaper, Macintosh extension.appx, package contents, resources, and macpaint.png. Oh, the little Happy Mac logo from the screensaver. We want to copy path name and put that in here. And when we check this, now we've got the little Mac Paint guy there. All right. Let's see, was there anything else? Everything is default. Okay, yeah. Buttons. We are skipping data entry. We're not going to use that for this instance. Buttons. All right, button 1, we're going to change that. Instead of saying OK, we want it to say yes. Button 2, by default, is disabled. We're going to toggle it to be visible. And we're going to change that to no. The info button, we want it to be visible. For this one, we don't want it to quit when the person clicks the info button. So we turn it off. The label, let's change that to about AirDrop. And for the info button action, this must be a URL. It has to go to a web page. If you're going to do this for AirDrop, you may want to point it to your IT KB article that talks about security. If you have anything specific to AirDrop, and if you want that to be completely off or contacts only, whatever, link it there. I am a big fan of Pareto Security. Let's see, can I just click the link? Yeah, there we go, open. So they make an app that's available on GitHub. It's in Installamator if you make use of that to push out to your fleet. But it's an app that really enables the end user to do their own kind of security hygiene. It looks like I don't actually have it installed on my Mac at the moment, but just a little icon sits up in the tray and it'll display a dot, green if all security checks are good, or orange if there's some things that need improvement. And if you get something that needs improvement, you click down through the menu and it'll tell you, here's the item. And when you click about that item, it'll bring you to their own KB that says stuff about AirDrop in this instance. So, AirDrop is secured. Well, if you get the orange icon, it's not, so you want to go through how to disable AirDrop. And this will tell the folks what they can do to fix it themselves. That's pretty handy, I think. But again, you may want to brand it with your own information, unique or specific to your org's requirements. Right. Let's see, I don't think I actually plugged that in. Let's go back to here. Yes, let's put it into the action. And for advanced list items, images, and media, we are all going to leave as default. Oh, I forgot to mention this a moment ago, but One thing with AirDrop, what really got me interested in it is the security and compliance project. That's been going on for a few years now, right? And of course, there's been a few talks, I think, this week that have made mention of it. And the Jamf compliance editor, be sure to check that out if you haven't. It's very handy. If you haven't done any compliance stuff yet, definitely need to start looking into it. The compliance editor makes it very easy to gather the info you need and composes the mobile configs and scripts that you might need to use to push out to your machines to get them into compliance. What is also very handy, the compliance level that we go with is CIS level 1, and for it, with AirDrop, it recommends that AirDrop be turned off altogether. For us, we're not, like some high-level, top-secret government thing. I see AirDrop as a convenience for our users, so I'm good with them having it on, but I don't want it to be open willy-nilly to the world, so anybody could share something with the other. But the compliance editor doesn't allow that option. It's just off. If you push the config down, it has to be off, and it locks it in as off. I want our users to have the option to change between things. And that is why I want to present them with this message. Okay, so back on track. So advanced, list items, images, media, we're skipping all of that, leave it as is. We go to JSON output, or JSON output, and we hit generate. So now we have this nice JSON formatted block of text. We can copy to the clipboard, and with your text editor of choice, mine is BBEdit, you can paste it in and then save it as, let's go inside of my downloads for now. Example.json, sure, whatever. Okay. So we're back in Builder, but now we can actually quit it when we're done using it. For the moment, quit. It's gone away. Let's go back to terminal. And let's run it. Dialog -- JSON file, and then the path to wherever you saved that JSON file. Dialog -- JSON file. And for me, it was ~downloads/example. Okay, so I ran it, it popped up, but it also popped up the builder. This is another one of those alpha things, I think. If we actually look at the JSON file, it's not in this section that we went through or any of the advanced items, but we look at this line here. We're gonna, wait. Let's do 200. That's probably better. Builder, true. We don't need builder. So let's get rid of it. Resave. And back to here. Okay, would you like to open AirDrop settings to adjust them? We'll say no for now. It closes. We're done. back to terminal, reopen. Hey, don't see builder, great. Okay, but it actually didn't matter if I hit no, did it? Let's see, back to here. Let's bring this aside. So, real quick, let's point out a few things. Try to make it look roughly the same. I think when I did this, I used title instead of banner title. So it's a little different. I also see, title says an important message. So there's something a little off there. But the banner image is right. The icon is good. There is an info button, but it doesn't actually say about airdrop. It says more information. Button text, no, yes, those matched. The title and message, again, title is weird, but message is right. And as I point out here, yes, no, there is no logic, so it doesn't matter. Even if I hit yes, it just closes the window, doesn't do anything. So we want to go back to the JSON file, and let's say, right here, banner title, an important message. That carried over, even though I thought we had it turned off. So again, it's in alpha. There are some things that just don't behave exactly like you expect it to. So let's reference, let's see, do I have it on my desktop? SD, I think this is the one. Oh boy. 200. All right. Info button, true with icon message button 2, button action, banner title. Oh, no, okay, that's the other one. Title, airdrop for everyone enabled, which I have there as well. Okay. I think when I was messing around with things before, I've discovered this, but didn't actually change it on that one. Oh, maybe it's in my downloads. How about you? I think that's the one. Okay. Title, so this is what we'll want to use instead. Let's go back. Do I have it still open? No, good. All right, so instead of doing an example, let's do AD for all.json. There we go. Okay, and apparently I went ahead and changed it to my actual branding, whatever. That's it, no on there once again. So what we'll want is to make sure that banner title is not there, title is, button 2 is true. I think just about everything else should be good. Okay, so if you run it, how's it look for you? Looks like you want it roughly, ideally? Okay, all right. So now, the logic portion of it. Hitting yes, hitting no, we need to do something with that. There we go. And let's bring this back up maybe. Wake up. Reconnect. There we go. Okay, security and compliance, I mentioned that before. Yes, the Apple IT training they have, and for what it's worth, hopefully everything I've mentioned here is referenced. At the very end, I've got a resources page, QR code, where you can go and get all the content here with links to the various things. But yeah, Apple's IT training site is fantastic at what all they offer. One of them is indeed about security and compliance stuff. And I think it even also makes reference to the Jamf tool, but that will be linked as well. From it, the relevant check that we are going to make use of is defaults read the current user's directory, library, preferences, com.apple.sharingd.plist, discoverable mode. A little bit of an aside. I have often used privacy and security interchangeably. I know they're different, but they're close enough to where I would say them and mean the same thing sometimes when talking to folks. And I would also use security and compliance interchangeably. I knew they are similar, not exactly the same, but close enough. But I would never use privacy and compliance. So I knew there was a difference, but I couldn't exactly articulate what that difference was. This summer, earlier this summer, Apple had one of their sessions online for admins, and one of the presenters there laid it out really well that I found helpful. So I want to share that knowledge. He said, privacy protects the person. Security protects the device. Compliance protects the organization. So when talking about things, privacy, security, compliance, that's a frame of reference. You're talking to an end user, privacy is what matters to them. Talking to IT, the cybersecurity group, security is the important piece. And when you're talking to the law side, legal department, compliance is what they care about. That's where you want to change or use those specific words to address the right audience. Okay, so if we take this check and plug it into Terminal directly, we'll get a few possible results. The first would be not configured. So if we actually did users/bracket current.user, blah, 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 we're absolutely going to get not configured because that user doesn't exist, right? So you want to put in, maybe tilde/ on your local computer as you're testing it, so it goes to your account. If you're going to push something out to your fleet, make sure your MDM supports the current user placeholders. Figure out how what you need to type in there to make sure that it actually checks the account that's logged in at that moment. But yeah, if the account doesn't exist or the person actually hasn't set it up, then it's going to be not configured and report back does not exist. If they have set it to no one, it comes back as off. Contacts only is contacts only, and everyone is everyone. All right. Now, we also want to talk about, before we actually script all this out, what each thing is going to do. So we want to only check for everyone being the set parameter, the target Active Directory status. Active Directory, AirDrop. I say AD way too much in reference to Active Directory. Yes, we are still on AD, but that's like on the Windows side mostly. Whatever. All right, the current AirDrop status. That's where we'll plug in that code of defaults read, however you get to the user's path, and the library preferences, plist discoverable mode. Next, we probably want to have some logs about it, right? So, ideally, you may have one single log for everything that you're checking for as your organization. And so a unified log, that's the word, unified. I like having it sequenced out to what I am checking for specifically at that moment has its own log. So I do private var log, my org name, .status.airdrop.log. Now, if you do this, again, with the brackets, and we actually get to the script and run it, it would create a file in log that is brackets org.name. So you may want to change that. It's also good to keep a record of when the script ran and it found these results. So you can put in the current time. And that is definitely something that I had to look up how to do because I am not good at remembering the different, is it Unicode? Whatever the coding is for capturing time info. All right. And lastly, at least on this screen, I think, how are we going to have our users change their AirDrop settings? If you use Finder, there's AirDrop generally in the favorites section. They could click on that, and then it has at the bottom, allow me to be discoverable by, and it's a drop-down menu that they can choose from. You can't script that necessarily. Thankfully, there is an option in system settings or system preferences that you can link to and have them go there instead. So we're going to provide that. If they click that, yes, I want to change my settings, that yes button is going to send them to that system pane for AirDrop handoff. All right, so let's back out of this again. And can you see, or can you capture the QR code from there? I can put it full screen again if you need to. But all of this I've got on that page, and it seems like the Wi-Fi is working pretty well, thankfully. So you can copy it and dump it in. Let's go here. Copy. There. All right. And over to BB Edit. We're going to make a new file. All right. And let's go section by section. We will use Z shell to start it off with. Comment and define your variables. Yes, we want to get the current AirDrop status. We want to check if the status matches the target. And I believe it's when we get to the make a record of it that we need to, it is in the current AD status. We'll have to change that as well. All right, let's copy all that. Drop it in. All right, so let's do tilde for me, and we'll say org my. Let's do that again a few more times because we have it logged in different ways. Oh, yeah. First is check if the log exists already. If not, make it. Where are you? There. Okay. We got that portion. Define your check and remediation. I think I'm in that already. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to here. Show the warning message. It's going to be the JSON file over here, right? Obviously need to change that to wherever you had saved that file before. Or what I found, JSON is very particular about formatting. And there were a few times when I was going through this demo at the generate button, and then I copied and pasted the content into BBEdit and saved the file. Sometimes it actually said that there was a problem with the file, that it couldn't parse out the information correctly. And I ended up deciding the JSON file is very handy for referencing the items that I want to put in to customize. And instead of doing it with a single JSON file, I like doing this section instead, where it is, let's drop it over here, the entire thing in line. And let's zoom this up. So big title, message. It uses Markdown, so /n to give me a new line, new paragraph. Icon, banner image, button 1 text, 2 text, info button action. And back to here. That's all that would fit on this screen. So let's move on to the next half, which is this portion here. And this is where the logic actually comes in. BBEdit. Okay. So we will show the warning message where it says, hey, you've got AirDrop on. You probably should change that. Yes, no. And we do a case to let Dialog know that there's some processing that should happen when they choose one of those buttons. First, if they choose yes, then we will open that system preference pane. Okay? If they choose no, then we'll just write it to the log, or maybe I don't actually, oh, I do have it. Okay, yeah. We'll write it to the log that AirDrop is enabled, but they didn't do anything about it. Again, I need to change it here, org.my. There we go. Yes, yes, okay. And then we back out of the case, and else AirDrop is not enabled for everyone. So we'll write that to the log. And back out of the if. And we're done. Enough. Let's save that as example.shell. All right. So now we can actually run it. Adjust your AirDrop settings. If you still have everyone on, you can leave it there, but be sure to set it back to contacts only. So we want ZSH /downloads example.sh. Sure, permission denied. So let's give myself privileges and sudo. Okay, what do I have it on? Do AirDrop. Contacts only. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. So let's set it over to everyone. And now, run it again. And it's still not doing it. Okay. Maybe wait a few more seconds. There we go. It took a few seconds for it to realize that everyone is on now. Okay. All right, good. So AirDrop enabled for everyone. Do you want to adjust those settings? Yes. So we saw dialog disappeared and it opened up AirDrop. And so now I can choose to go to contacts only or no one. And that could be the end of it, right? We hope that our end users will make that change. Maybe run the script again, push it down again, nag them about it. Maybe we check the log and see that it had it on and we warned them. And the next day it had it on and we warned them. So, or maybe we add some more logic to it, right? But before we get to that, you ought to, again, think about what you can do with your MDM, what commands it allows. Do you save the script and host it, from a server somewhere and point to that script? The MDM that I use, and I think most are this way, it can just send essentially scripts, but as very long custom commands. And that's generally what I prefer to do, so that when I'm in my MDM, I can see and edit all the things at once without having to go reference the script and change that script and then update or re-push the command. If you want to use the JSON file, same kind of thing. Do you host it somewhere and point the script or custom command to that JSON file? Do you have the computer curl it down, perhaps? Different ways to get it out to your end users. Another consideration I touched on a little bit, how often do you want it to run? Hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, just that one single time? Do you use a launch agent, launch daemon? Is your MDM able to define the frequency? Do you have them do it themselves via self-service, just out of their, goodness of their heart? They're like, oh yeah, I'll go check and run this and whatever else security recommendations you have. I'll do that on my own, sure, right? All right. Here we go. Yes, more logic. That's what we want. So one, again, another QR code goes to another page. I apologize. I like QR codes, maybe a little too much. So if you still have the other page open, you can go in there at the very end of the URL and go to v2. And I also have the raw script linked at the top there. You can get that. just going to drop it all in, which means I will have to change those because I decided to clean it up, I only have to change the log once, at least I hope. Target, AD status, everyone, the banner, the logo, the info button about airdrop. That's the one where it had more info, even though we had said about airdrop. I button is the, well, not here, but actually where I have it referenced. Info button action, yeah. Anyhow, I button, I action. All right, current AD status. Again, in this example, I've got it using my local path. When you push it out, most MDMs, I think, will send it as the root account, and so it's going to try to look if root has airdrop enabled, and it won't, so it won't really tell you any useful information. So again, make sure you change that placeholder to whatever your MDM can handle for the current logged in user. All right, and we'll do the option switches or whatever they're called to clean it up so it makes it a little easier to read when we're looking at the script, except for the message. That is still very long. And we've got the anchors, go back to the variables at the top. All right, and here we go. What we're doing here, we'll actually definitely go ahead and use it, but the logic is, say they hit, yes, I want to change that setting. Great, it goes to the settings pane, and it will wait for a little bit. And then it will display this message. It'll do another swiftDialog message that says, okay, once you've updated those settings, continue, and it'll run the check again. And if it detects that it actually was changed to off or contacts only, it says, hey, thanks, you changed it. If they didn't, or it can't detect that they didn't change it, it'll say, something might not be right. Why don't you call the service desk? All right, so let's run this again, hoping I did everything right. AirDrop enabled for everyone. Would you like to open AirDrop to adjust them? Yes. Continue when ready. Okay, one thing, yes, it did open system settings, but this opened on top of it. One of the things that maybe you could resize this second window, and again, with swiftDialog, it's very customizable. You can place it in the top right corner if you so desire, or the bottom left, or it doesn't have to be dead center of the screen. It can go wherever you want it. You can define that location, as well as obviously the overall size and shape of the box. All right, so we're gonna change this back to contacts only, and then I hit continue. AirDrop updated. Thank you for changing to contacts only. And yeah, there is a placeholder where it will actually, pulls in whatever it reads from that path. So, and then we close, we're done, and it logs it somewhere. And now, compliance and security is much happier. So, let's see, do we have anything else? Oh yeah, this was another slide just because there's so much stuff there. I couldn't fit it on the same slide, so I put it on another screen, but we've copied and pasted it from the actual web page and have everything running exactly like we want. Oh, even a third page. Here we go, we're at the end. There's the QR codes because we already had at least 3, why not 4 or 5 more? The first one is to the resources page, which has all of these links here, and maybe some other things, I can't remember exactly. And then the bottom QR code is for the feedback, so please let me know how this went. We've got 15 minutes. So if there's anything you have questions about, anything random you want to talk about, we've got some time. But otherwise, thank you. I hope it was helpful. Yes, please. Thank you. So, who all has used swiftDialog, whether it be like the pre-made stuff? All right, and you, yes. All right. What have y'all used? Is it stuff you've built yourself, like this? Are you using other things, the community tools? Yeah.
I don't think it's
There it is.
It's
Okay.
very. I have to really get close, so I'm sorry I'm not sick right now. Yeah, so nothing crazy. I actually use swiftDialog. I install Display Link Manager for. We have a call center, so they actually have. They have to use extra monitors, and some of them have M1 Max, so it's our way of getting around it. But I found that the installer sometimes runs into weird issues, and there's no feedback on like whether or not something's happened. So I actually have it where if they're on the latest version and they're trying to spam install it again, it actually now pops up and says, "Hey, you actually have the latest version installed. You can." Doesn't say this, but please stop trying to install it again. Or it says, this installed successfully, or it says, hey, this failed, reach out to, to us. That's what I have right now. I don't know if anyone else has wants to talk about their installer, what they're doing with it. Oh. I'm gonna do this. I'm not good at throwing, so I appreciate it.
Last summer, we replaced all of our MacBooks, and we had to back up data from the machines onto an SMB share. So I used swiftDialog to create an entire step-by-step thing to walk through some summer helpers to do that.
Nice.
It mapped the drives and then did the backup and did some verifications, and it was, 6 or 7 different screens they could walk through.
That's cool. Yeah.
We're using it to drive a couple MDM migrations we have coming up from M&As. So it's someone else on my team doing it. I haven't been working on it, hence why I'm in this room.
In Beth's presentation, she talked about how they're using it for folks to opt in to like early updates, testing, that sort of thing. So I thought that was pretty clever, and it gives feedback, like the kind of generic, "Oh, you signed up for this thing, excellent." And what they were using before, I think, like didn't really show the progress of like the machine check-in. They used Jamf, and so one of the things they wanted was to, get it put into a different device group essentially, so it could receive those updates. But with the swiftDialog customizations, she added some steps where it would display as if it were like a Install-O-Mator or App Auto Patch or something, where it gives the progress of installation. It was here's the step where we're changing the device group you're in, and so it was just waiting to complete that before it moved on to the next section. So very, very creative way to give some interaction and educate the user on the progress. And of course, there's the progress bar at the bottom as well that kind of shows the overall status. So it's very, very flexible in what you can do with it and show your users. So, my bad. All right. Well, I think we're good. Again, thank you all, and I hope this was a great week for you. It was for me, and hopefully see everybody here next year.